it's Friday. It's the end of the second week of my Artist in Residence program at Mount Wilson, and I thought I'd do my weekly wrap up. So just sharing a little bit of what I've done during the week, thought processes, having a little quick look around the studio. Keep in mind also I'm exploring the area and getting out, wandering, doing some bushwalks, photographing in people's gardens. I've seen the most incredible proteas. I don't think I've ever seen them on the plant that I can picture anyway. These proteas were taller than me. They were bigger than my head, literally, the size of the flowers. So those things are really special about being in the area as well. It's not all about creating art and hiding myself away, hibernating in the studio. But I'll give you a quick look at what I've done this week and where I'm up to. I'll just switch the camera. So this is a big one that will partner to the other Waratah I was working on last week. I've got a couple of little flowers in here, and I actually thought I would start with the background on this one because it felt really tedious after painting the other flower to then think about a background. I have been working on the notion this week of what if I start with play. And so this was yesterday's little play exercise, just with ink on cartridge paper or smooth drawing paper. And then that led to me thinking, I actually want to do this in colour, because what caught me about the leaves was these really intense bright coloured, multicoloured leaves, the new growth on the foliage up here. Little pink sketch in the corner there. And so this is the first layer of a painting that I'll do in a similar style to the shearing shed one last week. This is, I've done similar before as little abstracts without any plan in the first wash, but this one I did think about what I'm going to paint over it. There's a doorway here, a window, flowers and things low. So I kept that in mind as I put the underwash on. And this was actually over the top of a failed painting earlier in the week. I'll show you the other sketch that was the first one. Then I did it out sitting in the bush on this wrapped paper. And it just didn't work. Like, it was fine, but it looks like, let me show you. It looks like this log that's waving with a yelling face on it. And so I didn't even see that until I came back to the studio and hung it on the wall while I was painting it. I didn't notice. So that was one of my loose sketches, and then I had done a smaller, more refined one of the same log. And so that's what I painted over. But this idea of starting my day with play, I've been using a little bit of water-soluble graphite pencils and Sumi ink. So that was play on a different morning. And then I've been working with the printing press still and really enjoying it. I have to say, I've taken to it like a duck to water. But this is, so that abstract bright coloured underwash that I showed you on the other canvas, this is the first similar style of painting. So it's still layers of watercolour, a little bit of pencil in there, a little bit of white gel pen. So this is the shearing shed. And then I was looking at, so they look like this is the second stage of the painting. And as I was looking at it, I could see this green look like a tyre. And I had a photo of the tractor in the shearing shed. So I thought, well, that might work to do, a little companion piece. My tractor's too narrow and high, too narrow for the height. It should have been wider. But I was working with the pattern that is in the underwash. So it had this, what looks like a tyre pattern to me here, and then it had a darker stripe just over there. So I went, I'm going to go with that even though the width isn't right. Hopefully they have a little bit of charm. And the idea is that the underwash still shows through. I try to paint as little as possible in the top layer. So yesterday afternoon at 4:30 I started this one. Was that yesterday? It's a blur. I think it was. No, the day before. So I started this print process of the bunch of flowers that my lovely host Anne gave me from her garden on the first day. And then today I've been working on the Waratah painting. I did some other play, which I'll show you first. And then I just really want to start a little series of birds on the printing press. So that was this morning's job that I've just finished. But my play this morning, because I've made the intention I'm going to start each day with play, my play was first of all making different kind of brush implements that I'll use next week. So I've just stacked them all up here on my mantelpiece. I've been collecting some lovely little bits and bobs around the gardens as I'm visiting. And then I had the thought after I did that of what would happen if I actually just ran flowers through the printing press. I follow this lady who uses a hammer and hammers the flowers onto paper, and the colour of the flower transfers. So I was just curious. So that became part of my play. But what I really like is I got this beautiful sort of ghost underprint, which I might actually use in my surface design work. I really like some of that kind of abstract mark making, and I think I have a use for that. So I'm going to do a little bit more of that, pressing the flowers first before I put them through, because this poor darling just went to goo and there was goo all over the paper. So I might dry them and press them first. But anyway, that's my wrap up for the week. My big takeaway for the week is start the day with play. Even if like today I only had 2 to 3 hours in the studio because I've got to head back home to teach a workshop at Port Stephens this weekend. So this morning I really struggled with the intention I had set of starting each day with play, because I thought, what happens if I lose an hour? And it wasn't, I'm going to waste an hour, but I might lose an hour. I haven't got much time. Will I do this, or will I just get stuck into it? And I thought, no, that was my intention for the week. Let's start with play. Play first no matter what. And so I really had to get past my head telling me not to do it. But what happened was the first part of the play led to a different thought, led to curiosity. It helped me come up with something that I'm really interested now to follow through with. And I probably wouldn't have thought of it if I had just gotten straight in to the work part of the painting, you know, the things that I normally do. So I totally changed that thought around of, will I lose an hour? And later I thought I really gained so much from that curiosity that came up in that play period. So I have to say, totally worth it. Another great week here. Next week I do need to also get out and explore a little bit more than what I have been doing. I need to see a little bit more of the bush. We saw this massive red-bellied black snake that was dead on the property already. Something had bitten its head off by the look of it. But it has made me a little bit more, hesitant to head down the bush with my chair and my easel, but I'm going to do it next week. I wasn't really scared of the snakes when I first arrived. I know the red bellies, are scared of you and, head off pretty quickly, but the size of this one gave me pause. But anyway, I hope you've had a great week as well. And thank you for all the comments and all the people following along this journey. It's really making it interesting for me to take the time to post and share the work, because otherwise it just takes time away from the creation, which is, a challenge to do. So I'll see you soon.